wanted to give an update on the status of the white we have, the 4175. We've had it probably 4 years, I imagine. We bought it from a place south of Columbus and brought it up here and immediately tried to put it to work chopping corn. And we immediately took out a bearing in the PTO. Well, we took it over to our local tractor service center. It's just less than a mile from us. He does very good work. He fixed it, but while we had it apart, he took the PTO housing off the back. We noticed some other serious problems this tractor had. It had some tremendous oil leaks from the seals on the draft sensing shaft, and it also had a very big leak from the PTO bearing where it mounts on the front of the rear main frame. That was leaking very bad. So apparently we weren't the only ones that had ran it low on lubricating oil in the back. The differential and gears, a lot of them are splash lubricated, or they run within the oil itself, but there's also a lubricating pump that lubricates the bearings, and it also directs oil into the differential assembly and lubricates the spider gears and some of the bearings in the differential itself. Now, what we found, the lighting's not the best in here. I apologize for that. But it is what it is. Point of clarification. Might be some confusion. The white, at least this model, every fluid level either has a dipstick or an indicator, except for the rear main frame. The engine, of course, has the dipstick. The over-under has a dipstick. The front main frame has a dipstick, and the hydraulic system has a dipstick. And the radiator coolant level has a sensor that I replaced it, so it works now. But we didn't know the rear main frame had two plugs that are in the PTO housing that you have to remove those to check the fluid level. Of course, when we first got the tractor, we didn't know to do that. We quickly learned, but and of course the one that didn't have a dipstick is the one that was leaking and was apparently out of oil when we got the tractor. Apparently the dealer we bought it from, I thought since it was on their lot that they would have serviced it, but I think this tractor was sold on consignment, kind of as is, and they didn't do anything to it, didn't check any of the oil levels or tell us that. So that was kind of an expensive lesson. But yeah, that rear main frame, the oil in that again is the main lubrication for the PTO or power takeoff, and that won't last very long without lubrication. So there's the rear main frame off of the white. What happened was I lost all lubrication pressure. It just went away suddenly. We had problems with it having low lubrication pressure the whole time we had the tractor. I thought, this is the lube pump out of the back end. I thought the pump was probably worn since it had been run without proper lubrication. But when we got it apart, I found out that the dip tube had come loose and was laying down in the bottom of the sump like this. So what that meant was before this fell off, it was attached but loosely. So this pump was sucking a lot of air along with the oil, and I think that contributed to a lot of the problems we have found on this tractor. The biggest being And we knew this pinion was bad because our tractor guy found chips in the bottom of the sump when he took the PTO housing off. But you can see that was very badly worn. It surprised. And we've done a lot of hard work with this tractor, a lot of plowing and disking. It's amazing it's held up as well as it did. That's a tribute to the Oliver engineering, I suppose. And continuing on, this was the differential. And we got worn spider gears. Those aren't supposed to be that way. They're loose. 3 of the 4 have a lot of play in them. The bevel gear itself, although it doesn't have any chips, it does show a lot of signs of wear. And the other big problem we had was we were missing some teeth on one of the bowl gears. One there and one there that had broke. And my tractor guy said that it was probably chips from the pinion were getting into the gear between the pinion and the bowl gear and breaking teeth. Now this is the pinion that was on that side, and this is the bevel gear that mates with the spider gear. It has signs of wear. You can see down here these profile is worn very badly. It's rolled over. You can feel sharp edges along the top of the teeth. So that meant I needed quite a few parts. We needed a pinion, we needed a differential, we needed a bowl gear, and a pinion for that bowl gear. The other bowl gear, although it didn't have any broken teeth, the pinion also does show some wear. The profile on the top of the teeth is a little thin in some areas. And of course it shows wear on the bevel gear that engages the spider. So, but this was a lot of fun taking apart. Some of the later Olivers and Whites had this support plate that supported the surface on the pinion gear housing. Well, that means that not only do you have to pull the axles to get the bowl gears out, but you also need another 1/4 inch. So you have to, what I did is I loosened up the axle housing, loosened the bolts up, and was able to slide it 3/8 to 1 inch, supported it with a jack, and was able to get the gears out. So that meant we were looking for parts. And I know from the internet and the forums that these parts are very rare. The pinions are very hard to get. They were only used in this model of tractor. The 4150 pinions will fit, but you have to change the front and the back at the same time because it's a little different gear ratio. So, but I engaged my local tractor service guy, and within 2 days, it was just a matter of luck.